Okay, so first off, before we really get to anything, this is not my normal background. I'm currently staying the weekend at a friend's house. We'll get back to that normal background eventually, but I figured since I have a lot of free time on this current vacation weekend I have, I'm gonna pump out a lot of videos in the morning before anyone else is awake. So here we go. Each day we're gonna get one. So let's go ahead and jump into the Runecarver class. The skinny, pale-skinned human walked out of the tower with pride. Someone so skinny shouldn't be walking around shirtless as they are, as they shouldn't have anything to show off. But this man's whole body was covered in pulsating, glowing runes that were seemingly carved into his body by hand, and the fresh smell of blood still flowing around him. The angel held their head in their hands, distraught as the elf woman before him had branded him. The elf woman was covered in many carvings and runes, one of which was glowing brightly in sync with the brand on the angel's face. Fear and hatred filled the angel's head, two emotions they've never felt before. The android stood proud. Being a construct, they didn't bleed when they had these runes carved into their outer layer. Instead, they went with their design. Their layers that usually wouldn't appear as their skin was then covered in runes. Runecarver is the term used for those who carved magical symbols and runes into their skin for quick access to magical abilities. Each rune has a different ability, and some of the more experienced rune carvers will have mastered the ability to have many runes glowing all at the same time, all being active at once. Rune carvers are the most customizable class in this book, as rune carvers main only get about 5 features outside of their subclass. However, their main feature for this class has 50 options to choose from and switch between. Rune carvers need to carve these runes into them, and once they are carved into them, they get to choose with each long rest which runes are readied when, and they can activate them when they wish, giving them the chosen effect temporarily. So we're going to have the art of the rune carver over here for pretty much this whole video. This is the art of a human rune carver, and we're going to go ahead and get into the quick build. You can make a rune carver quickly by following these suggestions. First, make your constitution your highest ability score, followed by your intelligence. Then take the sage or acolyte background. As a rune carver, your hit dice is a d6, so you start with 6 plus your constitution at first level, and then after that is a d6 or 4 plus your constitution. As proficiencies, you get proficiencies in light armor, all weapons, one tool set of your choice, any 3 skills of your choice, and your saving throws you get are constitution and intelligence. Then at the starting equipment for a rune carver, you get a simple weapon or a short sword as the first option, then a light crossbow and 10 bolts or a short bow and 10 arrows, a dagger, explorer's pack, and a spell book, leather armor, and an explorer's pack or scholar's pack. So yes, you can actually get two. You do get 2 packs with this one, but I figured it kind of makes up for not having a lot of features in the D6 when you might end up having a few martial things. A few martial things. It's really up to you. So let's get into this. Level 1, Marks of Magic, Prepared Runes, and Runic Weapon. Starting at first level, you gain access to the Marks of Magic. Each one takes up a known mark slot and takes up a physical spot on your body as a carving into your skin. You can choose from the marks at the end of this class description. You can have as many on your body as you wish, but only your known marks can be used at a time. In addition, each mark can only be used an amount of times as that mark says, and requires an action or bonus action to activate a mark. Once active, each mark will say how long that specific mark will last. Your prepared marks list is or your known marks list goes it starts at level 4. It starts at 4 at level 1, then it goes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It goes like that. It just literally goes up by 1 every single time you level up. It goes but when you hit level 20, it becomes 25. So, activating your marks. When you use your bonus action or action to activate your marks, you can activate a number of marks equal to half of your Runecarver level rounded down, all at the same time. However, you can only have an amount of marks active equal to your Runecarver level at one time. So say you're level 3, it is half rounded down, so you can only activate one at a time, but you can have up to 3 active at once, but you can only get one going at a time. In addition, you can choose to end one of your marks early as a free action, losing all effects and bonuses from the ended mark. You regain all expended mark charges after finishing a long rest. Any spells or saving throws from spells caused by your marks, use your intelligence as your saving throw score. The DC for your mark saving throw is 8 plus your proficiency plus your intelligence modifier. And this works the same for your spell attack modifier and mark attack. It's the same thing. It's just your proficiency plus your intelligence. The process of adding a new mark of magic onto yourself takes 1 minute, in which you will take 1d4 piercing damage as you carve the rune into your skin permanently, most likely in blood. Then there is the prepared marks. Starting at first level, you can have 4 prepared marks, and you gain more as you level up. Like I said, that's that list. Prepared marks is pretty simple. It's just that. Then the last first level feature is the runic weapon. Starting at first level, you can begin to imprint some of your known marks onto a weapon of your choice. The marks on your weapon must be of the marks you have prepared for the day. You can only have one runic weapon set at a time. And if you put new runes on a new weapon, the old weapon that had runes loses those runes. It takes 1 minute to apply a rune to a weapon, and when activating your marks of magic, you can use that same action or bonus action to activate 1 rune on your weapon. You can have an amount of runes on a single weapon equal to your proficiency bonus. At later levels, when activating your marks of magic and your runes, you can activate more runes at one time. At 9th level in Runecarver, at 9th Runecarver level, you can activate 2 runes at the same time. And at 17th level in Runecarver, you can activate 3 runes at the same time on your weapon. So that is the that's level 1 for the Runecarver. Level 2, we have an ability score improvement. I know already. These guys get a lot. And specialized mark. So yeah, so they get ability score improvement. Everyone knows that. Specialized mark. This is your subclass. You gain a special rune or mark of magic on your body that gives you a variety of abilities as you're leveling up and empowering this mark. This is just your subclass. Your subclass options are the mark of glyphs, which allows you to use the 4 main elements as little glyphs. So each give you different abilities, and you can start combining. At later levels, you can start combining them together to do some interesting things. The mark of apathy is an emotionless one that can drain emotions and drain psychic energy and use black magic in a way. The mark of the arcane is a spellcasting one, which is a 1/3 caster, like a Eldritch Knight is for the fighter. Then after that, we have the mark of burning, which is the fire-based fire-based subclass. Then there's the mark of mental prowess, which is another psychic one, but this one has far more emphasis on the psychic power than what the mark of the apathy is. And there's the mark of bestial spirit. This is the last subclass, which gives you different abilities and spiritual powers of different beasts. So bears, tigers, eagles, T-Rex. It's a little bit of fun. That's just a quick overview of the subclasses. I'm not going to get so deeply into them. That's level 2. At level 3, you get Mark Swapper. Starting at 3rd level, after a long rest, you can swap out what marks are active and prepared on your body. You can use this ability once and regain that use after finishing a long rest. So essentially, every long rest, you can swap around what your runes or marks of magic are for that day. This doesn't happen until 3rd level, so you got to choose carefully at your first 2 levels. By 3rd level, you can start switching them around so long as those marks are engraved on your body. And you can only engrave those marks on your body if you meet the prerequisites for them. There are prerequisites for the marks. We'll go over a few of them. We're not going to go over all because there's 50. They all have their own things. It'll take a while. At level 4 is ability score improvement. Skip over that. Level 5 is nothing. Level 6, temporarily marked. Starting at 6th level, as a bonus action, you can pass on the traits of one of your active marks of magic onto another creature that you can touch. The creature of your choice gains all the benefits of the marks of magic, even if they don't meet any requirements from it. So some of them give you like wings, some of them can allow you to change gravity. It's essentially you can give that effect that you have active onto someone else as well. So you can have two people with the same effect. You can only pass one of your active marks onto someone else. Um, this is a feature you can only do once, and you have to finish a short or long rest before you can do so again. Then we're going to get to level 7, nothing. 8, ability score improvement. 9, specialized mark feature. 10, ability score improvement. 11, nothing. 12, ability score improvement. 13, nothing. 14, nothing. 15, specialized mark feature. 16, ability score improvement. 17, nothing. 18, your last ability score improvement. 19 is nothing, and 20 is your last subclass specialized mark feature. Like I said, these guys don't get much features on their own because they get these runes and these marks of magic. But it's literally just that. So that is the core class features. Literally the last unique feature you get out of your subclasses is at level 6, which may seem insane, but you get a lot of ability score improvements, and you can change that for feats because that's just how it works. You can get a lot of those to really have fun making a unique character. So we're gonna go ahead and get into some of these marks. So there's a list of marks that give you resistance to certain damage types. I'll just grab a random one. Let's grab the very first one, Acid Adept. Once active, this mark grants resistance to acid damage, and you can freely cast the Acid Splash cantrip. This mark lasts for 1 minute, and you can activate a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Let's go ahead and jump down to Angel. This is a 2nd level Runecarver prerequisite. Upon activating, you gain a pair of wings, giving you a fly speed of 30 feet. If you already have a pair of wings, then this increases your flying speed by 30 feet. This mark lasts for 1 minute, and you can use it twice. And everything that says like you can only use it this amount of times, those all refresh after finishing a long rest. Then we'll jump down to, let's see, Demon, which is a 4th level prerequisite. Upon activating this mark, allows you to breathe out a 15-foot cone of fire as a bonus action. This requires a dexterity saving throw. On a fail, the target takes 2d8 fire damage and half as much on a success. As well as you learn the language Infernal, you also gain immunity to the Frightened effect. This mark lasts for 1 minute, and you can use it amount of times equal to proficiency bonus. And again, I've already skipped a few here. I'm just grabbing ones that I think will be pretty interesting. There is the enchant, which upon activating, you choose one weapon within 30 feet of you. You roll a d10. You can add 1d6 of the damage type roll to that weapon for the duration of this mark. This damage increases to 2d6 at 8th and 3d6 at 16th level. This is the same chart that the gambler gets for their enchant ability. So it's a fire, cold, lightning, acid, poison, thunder, psychic, force, radiant, necrotic. This mark lasts for 1 minute, proficiency bonus amount of times, but you can only have one use of this mark active at one time. Another one they get is Extra Attacker, which prerequisite needs at 5th level. Upon activation, this mark gives you an extra attack at level 5 Runecarver and another one at level 13 Runecarver. This mark lasts for 1 minute, and you can activate this mark an amount of times equal to half your proficiency modifier rounded down. Then we'll go down to Gravity Shifter, which requires a 3rd level prerequisite is 3rd level Runecarver and intelligence of 17 or higher. Upon activation, this mark allows you to, as a bonus action, switch your direction of gravity for yourself and yourself only. This does not change your falling speed and does not remove any fall damage you would take. This mark lasts for 1 minute, and you can activate this mark an amount of times equal to your proficiency bonus. So that allows you to walk on the roofs, using up as your direction of gravity. So you can then walk on top of the ceiling, or just walk on the ceiling like a spider climb. But you can do it just as this. The next one we're going to go with is going to be, let's see, Mind Blank. Is a prerequisite is an 11th level Runecarver. Once active, you can, as an action, touch a creature and attempt to erase the past 1 hour from the creature's mind. On intelligence save. On a fail, the target forgets the past hour for the next 24 hours. If this mark is being used against a creature hostile towards you or in combat, the target has advantage on the saving throw. Once you used the action to activate the Mind Blank, the mark's activation ends. This mark lasts for 1 minute, and you can only activate this mark once. So essentially, it lasts for a minute or until you use the ability for it. Then we're going to go on to, let's see. Another fun one. Rage. Pretty obvious what I'm going to do. Once active, this mark gives you the Barbarian's Rage ability. Your rage lasts for 1 minute, and you must follow all the remaining rules of the Barbarian's Rage. You can only use this mark twice. So just fun options. There's a few options from other classes in here, but not very many of them. Then there is speed. Once active, your movement speed triples. This mark lasts for 1 minute. You can only activate this mark twice. It's another just kind of a little bit interesting one. Then there's Shifter, which prerequisite is a 7th level Runecarver. Upon activation, you instantly cast Polymorph. This mark is used instantly, and you can only use it once, but upon reaching 15th level, you gain a second use of this mark. So you instantly cast Polymorph on yourself at 4th level. Well, I mean, actually, you can't really upcast Polymorph. But yeah, you get what I mean. Instantly cast Polymorph on yourself when you do that. Oh, that happened. Let's see. We're going to go for Suffer. Now, before I talk about this one, I will just mention there has been 2 Runecarvers that have been used so far. One has gone up high level. One only has a lower level. We only got to level 2, and we haven't played that campaign in a while. But the one who is level 2, in lore, he was the one that created this one because he was that description at the beginning with the elf and the angel, the kind of a little bit darker. That was his backstory. He was the angel. But yes, he created Suffer. Once active, as an action, you can inflict one target with the suffering that you have gone through. You can choose what suffering they will experience that you have gone through. Your target must make a charisma saving throw. On a fail, the target endures a form of mental suffering and becomes catatonic for the duration. Anytime they take damage, they can re-roll this save. This mark lasts for 1 minute and an additional minute after the suffering has begun on your target. You can activate this mark once. So, kind of a little small thing, but they become catatonic. So it's pretty much, I mean, it says catatonic. It's just, they become, what is the word? I'm having a mind blank right now. What is the, incapacitated. They become incapacitated for the duration, but anytime they take damage, they get to remake the save. Next, we're going to go to Time, which is a prerequisite of a 17th level Runecarver. Upon activation, you can cast Time Stop without material components. Once the spell ends, this mark ends. You can use this mark only once. Essentially, but that it's a Time Stop. It's not like, it's a good 9th level spell, but it's a 9th level spell, so it's up there, but it's like you can't do too much because of the Time Stop caveats. But what is great about this, the high level Runecarver did this. He cast Time Stop, and at the very beginning of a combat, and he used that Time Stop time to spend the time to activate all the marks he wanted to activate. Which by the time he was 20th level, it really only took like a turn or two, but he wanted to make sure it was all ready to go and to be where he wanted to be in the combat before his next turn was up. It was coming up. So you can use it pretty I think that's the best use for the time rune, because it allows you to set up without wasting the time to set up and get where you need to be. Then we're going to go with just one more. We're going to go with weapon summoning, which is a 2nd level Runecarver prerequisite. Upon activating this mark, you can summon one weapon of your choice to you at will. This weapon damage can be of any of your choice and is considered a +1, but you cannot summon more than one at a time. At 7th level, this becomes a +2, and at 15th level, this becomes a +3. If you use this ability again while still having a summoned weapon up, you'll dissolve the old one and summon a new one. This mark ends instantly, but the weapon remains. You can activate this mark an amount of times equal to half your Runecarver level rounded up. Essentially, is just a kind of magic weapon swap. Just in case you are getting unlucky with actually getting magic weapons, you get some +1, +2, +3 weapons as you're leveling up, and you can make them be any weapon you want. Just know that your main focuses are usually Constitution and Intelligence. So you have to choose when making your character if you want to be a Dex or Strength based. But luckily, you got plenty of ability score improvements to help raise those up for if you choose to be a weapon wielder when you're doing this. So that's the Runecarver, a very, very strange and interesting and customizable class. I really enjoyed making this one, and it's gone through a few changes. It originally did not have any subclasses, but I decided to change it up and actually give it subclasses. But with that, that's going to be the end of this video. The next video is going to be about the Skirmisher, which is a entirely focused. His whole focus is to be a tank. And I think I did a pretty decent job of making a whole class that is meant to be a tank to pull the, not just the way a barbarian is, where they just have a lot of hit points and they don't go down, but in the fact that these guys will try to pull the focus of enemies towards themselves to make them the main focus while still also having a good hit pool. So yeah, that'll be our next video. We'll be on the Skirmisher, but this was the video on the Runecarver. I think probably I'll try to see if I can get the Skirmisher out tomorrow. We'll see how time works out. I might not have much time for it, but I'll try. I'll give it a try. Well, I wonder if, since I'm at my friend's house, if I'll get